What is up? This is Jeremy here, and I'm doing my first podcast right now. And I really want to get down to the introduction here and get everyone listening a grasp of what I'm trying to aim for here. There's a lot of podcasts talking about propaganda and just a bunch of bullcrap that people don't really need to hear. I want to discuss world events, the universe itself, and the in between. I don't want to offend people, especially with things like gender roles and such, so I'll go ahead and kind of leave those kind of stuff out. There's a lot of things going on that the people need to hear, or rather should hear too as well. And I want to be able to kind of touch bases in a lot of areas and aspects too as well that really can either open a mind up or just have people, either have answers to the questions or more questions, which could lead to more positive and critical thinking and such like that too. Uh, there's a lot of things that I'm still new to as well. This is my first MacBook that I've ever had, so I'm kind of new to Apple products here as well. And it might take me a little bit of time to really get adjusted to editing such and doing roles and be able to import things onto YouTube. So as I'm doing this right now, I'm kind of like searching through how good does everything work, how many tabs open and stuff like that too as well. What I really wanted to be able to touch on first as I'm doing my introduction here is the fact that we recently just had a winning president here in the USA, being Donald Trump, and I'm not really a left or a right. I'm kind of more in a balance, being in the middle. But there seems to be no middle ground, and no matter what thing you choose, you're either this or you're that. You can't be both, and that's what a lot of people really don't understand nowadays too. Uh, I do feel like maybe the country might be taking a right turn as well too, but at the end of the day, you got to think about as well, like the 1% is the 1% for a reason. If everybody else was have $1 million per se, let's say in their bank account right now, then the 1% wouldn't necessarily be the 1% anymore. It'd be 2, 3, whatever 5% it is. And the reason why the world, I think, works the way it does is because it's the way the economy and how everything is built the way it is. It's a monopoly. You have businesses that owns many of smaller businesses, which kind of just makes it all that money go into the same business itself. Like, for example, I'm gonna give you a quick one here. Like Sony and Xbox, Microsoft. They're two different companies, but at the very top of the pyramid, it is really just one major company that split it off in these multiple companies to make double the income, but yet they make the main company makes the most amount of money compared to the both too. You know what I'm saying? So in another ways, like Albertsons, Smiths, or trying to think of another good one example of analogy here. Let's say you have Apple and Android, or Apple and Samsung, and of course they're two different businesses, two different entities, but at the very top of the pyramid they're basically one entity itself, but they're spread out in multiple branches, so that way they make multiple amount of income, which basically all goes to the same major entity itself. And I'm not saying that greed really runs the world or evil runs the world, but there is more evil than there is good out here in the world. So all the good that there is, they're from usually the people, and the people would never be able to rise up because of how much more the people are oppressed or depressed, or they go into pharmaceuticals for medicines, drugs, and things that they think could cure them. But a pharmaceutical wouldn't exist if they gave you drugs that can cure you, which makes you want to come back. You have to get more, you have to re-up, and maybe you have to even re-up on more pills and such like those. We're falling into a constant loop where it's almost impossible to get out of, and it's starting to get off track so bad to the point where it's really hard to see things for what they are. You're by the time you're able to see through one I'm trying to make a good point here. If you're able to see through one barrier, there's another barrier blocking it right behind it. So by the time you get to that barrier, there's another barrier, and then another barrier, and then another barrier. And that can also go to like walls too. By the time you climb one wall, there's another wall you have to climb that's probably even taller or higher. And then you climb that wall, there's another wall even higher or taller too as well. And it's like a constant grind for a fight for your life. Most people, they end up working till they're 60 years old, 70 years old, and then they finally get their retirement money, and they can do whatever they want to do. Go on vacation if they want to, but you've already sacrificed 40 years, 50 years within a system working for the man. By the time you're able to get that retirement pension, from the government, whatever the case is there. And I feel like a lot of people don't really realize that when you work for yourself, you're building up not only confidence in yourself, you're building up something that you can really fight for. Then if you're working for someone else, you're kind of like you're fighting so that way they can make money and you can make what pennies or dimes, nickels, whatever you want to call it. And I feel like what I really like about this generation as they get older, yes, the music is more stupid. Yes, everything else is probably more dumbed down and everything else is more simplistic. And we have all these unnecessary extras, like kids being able to go behind their parents to if they want to become the opposite sex if they want to and such like that. That's kind of really distracting us from what we're really needing to see and what we really need to get into. But there's a lot of like kids growing up nowadays that's like realizing that, wait, I can work for myself. I can be able to do things for myself, make money for myself. And that's really a powerful thing for a generation to get into, because as a world, we need workers. There's no doubt about it. We need those people. And we also need people who can be able to attack on business ventures themselves and hopefully not turn into the way of greed or the way of like evil of trying to just corrupt people, control people and such like that, manipulate. And I'm really hoping that as things move forward in time, people can be able to really rise up more, not against the system necessarily, but kind of rise up against the way the algorithms are kind of having us kept down or unable to like build up walls for ourselves. Shoot, out of all the bricks that I've made in my entire life, I could probably build myself a mansion. And it takes losses to be able to understand exactly like what you did wrong, what you can do to improve it. And usually when people like they get something wrong, they feel really depressed about it. They feel like, oh man, I can't do this, I can't do that. But it's like failure is the number one thing to like really let you know that there's things that you could be able to improve on. If you look back on all the things that you did wrong, what are ways that you do to improve it. One of the major things is relationships. I've been in shitty relationships, and most of the times like I wasn't really the good guy myself too as well. And as I gotten older, I kind of get to see things at a different perspective and like the bigger picture on stuff. And I really changed my whole focus, my motive on I don't want to say like as if getting to the bag is necessarily a priority, because money is a concept, money is materialistic. It's just like someone outside that has like 5 cars outside, that's all materialistic. It's all a material view. And I really seek in prosperity in nature. I want to be able to be where there's a lot of green. I could be able to smell fresh air. Being in Vegas, really helped my mindset and my insights on how I look at things too. I'm born and raised here. I'm 24 now, and I still probably have a lot more growing up to do now. And I'm trying to get into an introductory here where it's not going to be extremely long, but I could be able to get people an insight of what I'm trying to go for, what I'm trying to get into. And I hope you like it. Jeremy out.